meeting for this day, June 14, 2022, to order. Let us pray at this time. Dear God, we humbly bow before you this afternoon to thank you for your grace and mercy, to thank you for all of those that are in attendance with us tonight. We ask that you keep us safe from danger, seen and unseen. We ask, Father, that you come and be our honored guest. May we, whatever we say or do here tonight, may it be in the best interest of those that we serve. We ask that you bless us, Father, as we go forth this summer. Bless all our students, bless our administration, bless our parents, bless our stakeholders, all of those, Father, that have been involved in the Hope County schools. Father, this and all the blessings that we ask of this community. Amen.
Amen.
This time we will have the chair's report. I can say again, greetings to all of you that are with us tonight, and we are so thankful that you are here. And we just thank God for this year that we have had, 2021-2022 school year. It has ended in a safe and a sound basis. Thank God we did not have the tragedy that we've seen in some parts of our country. Our year ended with lots of joy, students being recognized, awards given, pre-K through grade 12. It was full that week. Being recognized for their successes that have been made academically, athletically, and also in the arts. Our students did real well this year. Our graduation went well for both high schools, Sandhills Girls College, as well as Hope County High School. And many of our students, some from Sandhills Girls College, as you know, and we had some from Hope County High School too that earned associate degrees from Sandhills Community College. And that was a blessing. And we had an approximately, I think it was something like a little over $10 million in scholarship awards were given to our seniors this year. That too was a blessing, and it's really speak volumes of how well the students did this year. So we wish our graduates well as they pursue their dreams. And we say thanks to our administration and our staff, our parents for their support and what they did in order to ensure that our students graduate successful. So at this time, we will continue with our agenda, and we will like to get our agenda that we have before us approved. So may we have our agenda approved. Next on the agenda, we will get the approval of our agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for June 14, 2022.
May I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the agenda that we have before us for June the 14th, 2022. At this time, next on the agenda, we have our spotlight on success. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Dallas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. This evening, we do have 5 items for Spotlight on Success. Our first item this evening is the recognition of each of our schools for their beta participation, and for Hope County schools being named a beta district of distinction. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Melvin Cummings, our Executive Director of AIG and Advanced Studies, to share more information about these recognitions.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
I want to say a big thank you to the principals and the Beta Club sponsors who've done human work in getting the district this prestigious award. Beta Clubs are right across the United States. There are thousands of Beta Clubs. And I saw Robinson County published they got the Beta Club of Distinction. And this is our second Beta Club award of distinction. So all the hard work is done by our sponsors and the principals who support them. So I want to applaud them. And we called you guys up by school. Is anybody here from Dunstey?
Okay, Ms. Pickett, would you like to be in all these pictures?
We'll do one by one, then, and then we'll go.
The award. Pickett.
Mr. Cummings, you ready for it? Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
Okay.
Stay right up.
Say it.
I'm gonna do a big push.
Titus, do you need to
You wanna
slide
say
down
okay.
there and then you stay there?
Thank you.
McLaughlin Elementary. Yep. Rockfish. Sandy Grove. Scroll up. Upchurch Elementary.
I want my day to go.
You did.
West Hope Elementary. West Hope Middle School. Sandy Grove Middle School. West Hope Middle School. high school?
West Hope.
Okay, yes, yes, I can do it. Sorry about that. High school.
Y'all can smile. Celebration.
We're standing for Ms. Mitchell.
Okay.
And Sandhills Early College High School.
You could scooch in. My favorite word, everybody's gonna scooch, you know if you're tall. We're gonna kind of this area here, I'll shoot them here. Just best we can. Yeah. Let's check out those things. I'm gonna scoot this way. I'm gonna shoot those. Up top, so I can see it about the ring. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank
The National Beta District of Distinction is awarded to school districts who demonstrate a commitment to academic excellence, leadership development, and service involvement. In order to qualify, all schools within the district must offer National Beta and induct qualifying students in all eligible grades 4 through 12 within each grade.
And I think personally that Mr. Cummings should come and accept this on behalf of the district. Because you are the mastermind behind all the work.
Congratulations.
Just
Thank you.
two
Hard
pieces,
work.
two
You can
pieces.
shift a little bit this way so we don't have to scream it.
Oh.
So. Mr. Cummings, I know you're excited about it. Get there.
Thank you, congratulations.
And we like to recognize Ms. Simmons and Dr. Bishop. Ms. Simmons, could you come, please? And, Principal Hood. If you- I had the pleasure of attending Upchurch's induction ceremony. And as I said to all the EIG specialists for each school, it was awesome. It was really awesome. So I was not surprised when Dr. Bishop and Ms. Simmons were awarded the Educator of Excellence Award from National Beta. The award is titled the John W. Harris Educator of Excellence Award. And in order to achieve the Educator of Excellence status, a school must accomplish all of the following 4 achievements. All sponsors within your school will receive the awards if achieved. So the first one, you must earn National Beta of Distinction honor by the award date, which is April 23rd, 2021. They achieved it. You must earn the National Beta School of Merit honor by the award deadline, April 23rd, 2021. They achieved it. You must have students participate in one of the following National Beta events: the Leadership Summit, the State Convention, the National Convention. They achieved that. And your club must achieve one of the Service Project Awards by the deadline of April 30, 2021. And they achieved that. So I want to applaud Ms. Simmons and Dr. Bishop for their hard work. And also Ms. Simmons is also the teacher, the Holcomb School's Teacher of the Year So congratulations, Ms. Simmons.
I know you're on that side.
The balance sheet should be up here.
Come on now.
Yeah, look where you passed the buck there, Mr. Only if you're in there too, Mr. Feld.
Let me turn this way right here. I can shoot this
See,
like.
That's awesome.
Someone's.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone. Our second item for Spotlight on Success is the recognition of the Sandhills Athletic Conference Softball Pitcher of the Year, Ms. Tam Lowry. So at this time, let me ask Ms. Heather Glass to please come forward to introduce and recognize Tam.
Good evening. I want to thank the board members and the superintendent, Coach Emmanuel, for happy to talk a little bit about Tam Lowry. Tam was our senior pitcher this year. She led us to 15 wins and to the first round of the state playoffs. About 7 or 8 games into the season, Tam and I started looking at how she fit into the state as far as her strikeouts. And she battled the entire year. She was either first or second in the entire state. And then at the end of the regular season, she was second with 268 strikeouts.
Ooh.
Definitely a Hoke High record. She finished 5th in the state, because some teams obviously made it a little further into playoffs, but still it's a great accomplishment. She was the MVP of our team. She made the all-conference for the conference. She made the all-conference team, and she was also the pitcher of the year.
Tam, come on out.
And she's going on to play at Bevel Tech Community College next season.
Making the grade, Hope County Schools, Tam Lowry, Sandhills Athletic Conference Softball Pitcher of the Year, presented by the Hope County Board of Education, June 14, 2022. Congratulations and thank you for making us proud.
I don't want my boots to.
Yeah, I heard that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, congratulations. Stand in the battery box.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Our next item for Spotlight on Success is the recognition of the Sandhills Athletic Conference Field Event Player of the Year, Mr. Jeremiah Melvin. So at this time, let me ask Ms. Regina McLaughlin to please come forward to recognize Jeremiah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Jeremiah could not be here this evening, so I asked his mom to come and receive his award. Jeremiah is, he did track and field for 2 years, but he was a phenomenal athlete. He was an athlete that could do pretty much anything you had him do. He ran, he jumped, he took second in the triple jump at conference this year. And we fought with Jeremiah over this because his favorite thing was to say, oh, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm just gonna wing it. Coach Shaw, which was our jump coach, would always tell Jeremiah, come on, get your marks. But we always had him doing so much. He high jumped, he long jumped, he triple jumped. He threw the shot, but he was forward. That's the way he won Field Event Athlete of the Year, because we put him in the shot put. He didn't throw the shot put all year, but we put him in their conference. And he's so he scored in 3 events at conference. He is a phenomenal kid in the classroom as well as on the track. Mom has done a great job, a wonderful job with Jeremiah. But I'm just praying, Jeremiah is going on to FTCC to play basketball.
Yes.
To play basketball. Couldn't get him to track and field. He would have been phenomenal in track and field as well. But he's going to do great things. And I just told him, you know, when I talked to him last, Jeremiah, please don't go to college and move. You cannot. You got to listen to the coach. But he's going to do great things. We will definitely hear about him again. Thank you.
So I want to present this to Jeremiah's mother, and it says, making the grade, Jeremiah Melvin, Sandhills Athletic Conference Field Event Player of the Year, presented by the Hope County Board of Education, June 14th, 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Get out of here with that picture of this now. She's gonna get you.
I'm gonna find you.
Listen, we're gonna get away.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Jeremiah, congratulations.
Tell Jeremiah that congratulations.
Yes. And so our fourth item this evening is the recognition of East Hope Middle School's child nutrition team for achieving 100% inspection rating. So at this time, let me ask Ms. Deborah Carpenter, our Executive Director for Child Nutrition, to please share this special recognition.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Madam Chair, Ms. Pickett, and board members, our superintendent, and all those that have assembled this evening. I am excited. Dee, will you come forward to recognize Ms. Edith D. Taban, who is our child nutrition manager at East Hope Middle School.
Okay.
And we ask her principal, Mr. Covington, to come as well.
Okay.
Congratulations, Dee, for receiving 100% inspection rating at her last inspection that she received from the Hope County Environmental Health Inspectors, who came in May and evaluated her. And her and her team did very well. That's right, Ms. Maynard, let's get And when I was here before, I told you all that it is a lot of work to receive a high rating from the health inspectors. They not only have to prepare the food properly, but they have to keep it at the correct temperature. They have to make sure that it's preserved and put on the line correctly. They have to make sure that their cafeteria is clean and it has to be sanitized continuously. It's not just a one-shot thing. So it's very hard for a team to receive a 100 rating because what they do is come in right at the beginning of lunch or right at the beginning of the day when they're in the middle of everything. And that's what they do. They walk around with them and see if they're really doing it properly. So congratulations, Dee. We're so proud of you. And congratulations, Mrs. Covington.
Congratulations. Thank you. And it reads, making the grade Hope County Schools, East Hope Middle School Cafeteria, 100% inspection rating, presented by the Hope County Board of Education, June 14th, 2022. Congratulations, and as I said to the person I was here before, I just love it when you give me something to brag about.
Come on. Tell you what, let's slide over here just a little. We're getting Jake's photo bombing us in the background. There we go. There we go. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. And our last item for Spotlight on Success is the artwork displayed at the Board of Education. This month's display is provided by Don Steed Elementary School. So if you've not had an opportunity to look at that, it is displayed. So Madam Chair and members, that does conclude our Spotlight on Success for this evening.
All right.
We'll continue then with our agenda, which is public comments. And at this time, we'll turn it over to Attorney Wells.
Doesn't appear to be anyone who signed up tonight.
There's no.
No one signed up. Okay, but we will continue then. Next on our agenda then, we'll have a consent agenda. Are there any questions? If none, may we get a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda item.
Fresh coding. This is a renewal bid, they did ask for renewal, and this is foster academy. I was just for that. I'm gonna say that this is what we're paying for foster academy. We had a hard time with fresh coding. We have a wonderful, warehouse, that Hope County has a wonderful opportunity. We were blessed to have that warehouse, and because of the warehouse, companies can drop ship at one location, and then we have a warehouse manager that can take it out to our store. And so therefore, that's why we can pull in some of those, vendors that normally do not want to bid on small districts. But because we have the warehouse and we have a warehouse manager, then we can, and we also have a truck, a freezer cooler truck, and therefore we can entertain larger companies. So Parks Cabinet wants that to us a lot. The local bids, which track, Hope Septic is renewing for the first time. And then, Hobart Sales will renew our, equipment. Our equipment. The contract will continue our point of sale, our inventory, and our financial software. And this,
Talking about the maintenance department?
Yeah, maintenance department.
We did not have to bid with the maintenance department. We do have to bid with Hobart because of our equipment being different now. We have a lot of high technical equipment. We use combi ovens, braising pans, steamers, things that cook food that are different than what we are used to in the past years. So therefore, Hobart repairs that. Most of the things that Hope County Maintenance does are like
They're
coolers.
doing their job, they're doing their, okay.
Yes.
I was like.
So we don't have to bid out.
Okay.
No, we do not bid out. Are there any other questions?
You said you had a warehouse manager
Yes,
that's managing the warehouse?
yes, that manages our warehouse. We have
Do
two
you have
large
enough room in
freezers.
there? 'Cause
Yes, we have a lot of room in there. You need to come over and see it.
I'm over there.
Yes, you need to go over there. There's a lot of stuff. Yes, we have two full freezers, two very large freezers. We have a large cooler and we have a lot of dry storage space. We have a very large dry storage space.
And all that's your stuff over there?
Not all of it.
Oh, okay.
A lot. No, not all of it.
Okay, all
Good question though.
right.
And the auditors will go over there and check it.
Okay.
Yes, they do. They check everything to make sure. Most of this, what's in the warehouse is our USDA products that we receive from the United States Department of Agriculture. That's most of our freezer, food and our dry storage. Yes. And then what we buy from Cisco, from our bread company, and we did not do bread and milk bid. We will bring that back in July. I will come back in July to bring milk and bread. We're negotiating with bread right now, but I will come back in July to bring our milk and bread bid. But our Cisco bid, that's what we also receive frozen, we receive dry storage, we receive all of our supplies. That comes from Cisco, that comes directly to the school. Our USDA products come to the warehouse, and then we have a warehouse manager. The managers order it just like they order through Cisco, through our system. Ms. Shayla Scott is in charge of that, and they order it and then it's delivered to them. So, are there any other questions? That was a good question.
So there are no other questions at this time. I am asking for approval of the Hope County Schools child nutrition bids for 2022-2023 school year.
You've heard the recommendation of our superintendent. Are there any questions? If none, may I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the Hope County School Child Nutrition Service bid for 22-23.
May I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion's been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Action item number 2 includes the 2022-2023 continuing budget resolution. Let me ask Ms. Juanette Chavis, our Chief Finance Officer, to review this information and answer any questions, and we will be asking for approval of this resolution.
Make it a little bit larger, I can't see.
Good evening. What we have is our continuing budget resolution for the 22-23 school year. As you know, every year until a budget is passed, we have to have a continuing budget resolution in place until the budget is passed and been adopted by the board. So we have put our continuing budget resolution in play, or presented it where we can have it in place for July 1 through September 30th of 2022, hoping we will have a budget from the General Assembly by those dates. It's where we can continue operating and paying bills and paying employees with our budget resolution. So with this, we're proposing with state funds to between July 1 and September 30th, revenue of approximately $15 million, local current expense of $1.8 million, our federal grants of approximately $4 million, capital outlay $1 million, child nutrition $1 million, and other restricted funds of $950,000. This is the revenue we anticipate spending between July and September of 2022, and also the expenses which correlate with those revenues for July of September of 2022. And with the continuing budget resolution, give us the authority to, if we need to transfer between not funds, but purpose codes and any other transfers that we may need to do, and just present them at the next board meeting, which we do with our budget amendments each month. So this is our continuing budget resolution for 22 and 23. Any questions?
So the restricted funds are for specific things?
It's specific, it could be our JRPC that we receive, our Indian education funds, our, our DODA grants. It's different pots of money that we don't get from our county commissioners.
Right.
So it's a collective amount of funds that.
That's what we have to use it for.
Yes, some of them are very specific and then some of them more general. Any other questions?
So if there are no further questions at this time, I am asking for approval of the 2022-2023 continuing budget resolution.
You've heard the recommendation of our superintendent. Are there any questions? If none, may I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the 2022-2023 continuing budget resolution.
May I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the budget. All of those that are in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. All opposed, the nay. Ayes have it, been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Action item number 3 is the approval of the 2022-2025 AIG plan. Let me ask Mr. Lyndon Cummings, our Executive Director of AIG and Advanced Studies, and his team to please review this plan. We will be asking for approval of the plan.
Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, Mr. Attorney, Madam Superintendent, Assistant Superintendent, principals, colleagues, and visitors. With me this evening to assist with the presentation are members of Polk County Schools AIG program. I'd like to ask them to come forward. It's a team effort, so.
All right.
Ms. Baxter, could you come forward, please? Briefly introduce them. This is Ms. Parker from Sandhills Middle, Ms. Ross from West Polk Elementary, Ms. Baker from San Jose College, Ms. Sanders from Sandhills Elementary, Ms. Baxter from Hook High School, Mr. Bridges from West Polk Middle, Mr. Sobieski from Hook High School, and Ms. Mitchell from Rockford Polk Elementary School. Thank you for your consistent support, board members, and your tireless support of the students and staff of Polk County Schools. My team and I are here to present to you a synopsis of the 22-25 AIG plan. Due to time constraints, we will not be able to delve deeply into the weeds of the plan, but we will highlight some of the additions to the plan after listening attentively to our stakeholders. Our 2019-2022 AIG plan was complete, and we got a document from NCDPI that stated that, and to be complete, that's the top award. The top recognition, sorry. However, they gave us some recommendations which we addressed in this plan. We're not going to reinvent the wheel as NCDPI advised us, but to address those recommendations that they provided to us. The focus of this plan and the focus of AIG plans across the state, they ask us to focus on equity and excellence. Article 9B is the current legislation governing gifted education and mandating identification and services for gifted education K-12. And we don't have the slide up.
We're having technical.
But yes, but yeah, we go without the slide. We have 7 goals for Polk County Schools AIG program. And those goals guide our 6 standards from the state. However, I must say that our primary goal here in Polk County Schools is to ensure that our students, AIG or not AIG, are college career and ready to be a productive member of society. The AIG standards, of which there are 6 that guide our plan, I'll now ask my colleagues to address. So we start with standard 1.
We apologize that you do not have the presentation in front of you. So hopefully this is not winged. If anybody needs to see it, I can pull it up on my computer.
Well, we have our printed
Okay,
copies.
perfect, thank you.
Good evening. We had standard, Mr. Bridges and I worked on standard 1, which is student identification. One thing that we've been talking about as a team for the past year or so is adding an additional pathway to kind of level the playing field, so to speak, for those students who may not pass both those AIG tests that I know Mr. Bridges has more experience of that, but they score well on the EOGs, and so maybe you could speak about that.
Yeah, so right now, there's 7 different ways that a student can be identified as AIG. And pretty much all of them, except if a student's coming in from another district, is through testing. And we test with achievement test and ability test. And pretty much a student will have to be at the 90th percentile or higher to be able to be identified as AIG. But right now, we're in our new plan, we're adding an additional pathway. This is going to involve the use of what's called a portfolio, which will include basically student work samples from their entire year. So whether it be in middle school, in 6th grade, their entire year for math, reading, science, social studies, their essays, artwork, anything can be put in those portfolios. Now they will still have to have a 90th percentile or higher test score, but we can also use the EOG for that. So I've been the AIG specialist at West Oak Middle School a long time, and we have a lot of students who do really well on the EOG and scored that 90th percentile or higher and are great students, but when it comes down to taking the ability test or the achievement test, they just don't do well on it. So they're awesome students doing great things, but aren't necessarily identified as AIG because of those tests. So this new pathway will allow us to, like Ms. Baker was saying, equalize the playing field a little bit and to make sure that some of our underserved groups are more identified for AIG. Yeah, and then also on the presentation, if you guys get a chance to see it, are our numbers for AIG throughout the county. And when you get a chance to take a look at those, you will see that our numbers did dip a little bit starting in 2020 with COVID, not being able to test as much. So our numbers did go down a little bit, but they are starting to come back up.
Yeah.
So.
And if I can say one thing to standard 1, I've had many sleepless nights concerning the standard and identifying more underrepresented students. I know there is an assistant superintendent who harasses me daily, daily and says, no, in a good way. She's always saying that we need to identify more minority students, that we need to put something in place to do so. So I'm hoping that this pathway will help with that.
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Sobieski from Hope County High School, and I worked on Standard 2. Standard 2 deals with comprehensive programming within a total school community. And what it means is the LEA provides an array of K-12 programs and services provided by the total school community to meet the diverse academic, intellectual, social, and emotional needs of gifted learners. So really what this means is that we're continuing to do what's working. We're continuing to do these spelling bees. We have a focus on STEM. We have extracurricular activities for that individual enrichment for AIG students. The other thing that we have going on that's really exciting at the high school is the implementation of the Accelerated Pathway Program. And the Accelerated Pathway Program means that students who are identified and placed into this Accelerated Pathway Program can graduate Hope County High School with an associate's degree. That's what we had our valedictorian, Maya Albayari, she accomplished. And that's our goal for Hope County High School, to expand those dual enrollment opportunities and compete with Sandhills Early College. Right. The other thing that we're doing is, since COVID is relaxing, We're excited about expanding those field trips, expanding those opportunities to other colleges. I have a wonderful partnership with UNC Pembroke, and I'm working with the history department to bring us over there, and they can do some internships. They have a history day celebration type thing, so really excited about it.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jamie Mitchell, and I am the AIG specialist at Rockfish Hope. I went ahead with my team and we addressed Standard 3. Standard 3 talks about differentiated curriculum and instruction. The plan states that we're going to employ a challenging, rigorous, and relevant curriculum and instruction through grades K through 12. Many of the instructional initiatives that were already in the plan will carry over. Some of these things are like LBAs they do in the middle schools and project-based learning. We are going to continue to encourage independent investigations like in the science and mathematics fields to accelerate learning through student interest. New to the plan, we're going to include that K through 5 and ELA is going to be implementing a new curriculum. And the new curriculum will offer those extensions and alternate assignments for that higher level learning. We will also be using a new resource, junior grade books. Those will challenge our AIG students in grades K through 8. And new, we are working on a new Canvas course that will be offering teachers PD to show them differentiated strategies, and this will be county-wide.
I have standards 4, personal and professional development. We'll continue to do some of the same things we've been doing. As Ms. Mitchell said, we will offer a Canvas course of 30 hours. Once completed, teachers will receive a stipend and CEUs. We will reimburse teachers the cost of $157 for taking the praxis to be certified. We currently have 32 teachers licensed through UNCP. 17 teachers are going through certification, having completed 2 of the 4 courses with hopes of licensure in the fall. In August, we will extend an invite for another cohort of interested teachers. Quite a few high school teachers have taken advantage of the NC app. We'll also have the NIMSY Grant PD in San Antonio this summer. AIG specialists seek and garner feedback from teachers who teach AIG advanced learners about their needs so that students' needs are better met. Implement AIG Specialist Research Forum and/or an AIG Roundtable to allow AIG specialists opportunities to read, review, and reflect on current research in the field of gifted education. We will seek conference presentations and publishing opportunities for AIG specialists to expand their audience. We will seek grant opportunities to support obtaining resources on gifted education research for AIG specialists to use in their expanding professional development. And lastly, we will begin a book study series for AIG specialists to include books about self-advocacy, social emotional learning, and social adjustments in AIG opportunities.
I had Standard 5, I'm Shannon Parker from Sandy Grove Middle. This is with our partnerships, so we will continue with our partnerships with the EC department, ESL, CTE, MTSS, NC, APP, UNCP, FSU, Sandhills, and also with the Hope County Board. We'll also continue with our partners in education, parents and students, but in addition to that, we have partnered with State Employee Credit Union. With, you notice the student that graduated from Sandhills received a $10,000 scholarship. Also with State Employees Credit Union, they're gonna offer 2 student scholarships of $1,000. We're also gonna continue with our partnership with the Kiwanis program as well. And then working with transparency, we're gonna partner with the News Journal to make sure that we inform the public of anything that the AIG program here at Hope County is doing.
And I'm Kristen Ross, and I'm going to talk about the program accountability. And as the AIG specialist at each one of our schools, we all have the ability, we have to check
make sure the students are doing what they're doing, but also make sure what they need to be doing, but also make sure that the teachers have the materials they need and everything that they need in order to make sure that the children have their needs met in the classroom. So basically, that's about it. And we do have a campus course coming up, Michelle already talked about, so that will continue increasing how many teachers know what the kids need.
If I can add a bit about the comfortability, I know Dr. Register and Dr. Ramso, they normally ask me about what is happening in the program or our kids doing. They try to hold us accountable because our AIG kids should be performing at a very high level. We can't have AIG kids failing. We can't have AIG kids dropping out. So they are holding the program accountable so that we ensure that these kids who are the smartest kids in the district do what is expected of them.
And Mr. Cummings, you said you can't have them dropping out. What do you do to retain those students? What kind of?
Last year this past school year, we had 2 kids that turned into
a
young lady and a young man. And this is not the first time.
Okay.
So we don't have an AIG specialist at Turnitin. So when any AIG kids go to Turnitin, the principal will normally notify me. And I will go downstairs, I will have a conference with the students, and then I will constantly check on them to make sure that they're doing what they're doing. I look at their grades, I look to see if they have any behavior issues, if they have any issues that they need more challenging work, I work with those kids. So to ensure that they stay in school, and then I tell them I don't want to see them back over there.
And I'm glad it says that. And I guess we partner with Pembroke or
UNC, yes, Pembroke.
To get
More
teachers involved, so we can recruit more students.
And more teachers involved, they become more knowledgeable of gifted education.
Right.
Because one of the courses is differentiation, another is methods of models, another is social and emotional development, and another one is introduction to gifted. Those are the 4 courses. And from what we've heard, feedback from teachers who've gone through the courses are awesome. So we're going to use some of the knowledge from those teachers who went to Pembroke to develop our campus course.
And the stipend is to help after the completion of the.
After the completion of the 30 hours, they'll get a stipend and CEUs for that.
Okay.
Yeah. But those who go to Pembroke, the district pays, it's about $1,400.
But if they go somewhere else, the district.
No, we hold them we hold them for 2 years. They sign a contract to stay with us for 2 years after they get their licensure.
Suppose they go somewhere else.
They have to pay us back. Like we've had real teachers have to pay us back. And one day will take their money.
When I was a teacher, like I went through to become AIG certified, and honestly, I think all teachers benefit from that because a lot of people think, oh, they're smart, I can just give them more and I can just have them go sit over there and they'll figure it out. So to have teachers who are trained and equipped to kind of deal and make sure that we instruct at a level and we really meet their needs, because AIG kids sometimes have different needs. So it's really, I love the idea of the campus course because I feel like that will definitely spread that information to a lot more teachers who may not be able to go back and take that coursework. So I appreciate you guys working on that because I feel like we're gonna be able to touch a lot more teachers by doing that.
So the campus course is an online course? Okay. Through Canvas.
Through Canvas.
Okay.
And when I sat down and spoke with Dr. Dallas about the new plan, that was her suggestion.
That's why I love it. I think it's about access, you know what I mean? Some teachers want to be able to do that, but because of other circumstances, they can't. So I feel like if we can get that information to as many teachers, you can see the benefits in the classroom. And we want those students to be excelling, not just maintaining.
And not only AIG kids will benefit, but all kids.
Right.
It's not just teachers.
Thank you, Team Hope. I appreciate that. So at this time, I will be asking for approval of the 2022-2025 AIG Plan for Hope County Schools.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Are there any questions? If none, may we get a motion?
Madam Chair,
I move that we approve the 2022-2025 AIG plan for Hope County Schools.
May I get a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second that we approve the recommendation from our superintendent. All of those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. So,
Thank you very much, board, for your support.
thank you.
Good job, Mr. Cummings. Okay, so thank you, Madam Chair and members. That concludes our action items for this evening.
Next on our agenda, we have administration, and at this time I turn it back over to our superintendent for administration.
Okay, so we have 6 information items for this evening. Information item A is an update on our USDA Equipment Grant Award. So we'll ask Ms. Carpenter to come back to the podium to please provide this update.
You all don't see me a lot, so I want to do it all tonight. I am excited, very excited, and Dr. Dallas and Ms. Chavis are very excited with me and all of Child Nutrition that I did write the grant for 4 items. I did not receive all 4 of them, but that's okay. I received 2 of the items that I wrote the grant for. One of the things that, I'll give you a little background, USDA put out that we can write grants, research and write grants based on your need for your district. In 2020, I realized that Polk County Schools Child Nutrition needed blast chillers. I really realized we had 3 blast chillers in the district at the time, and those schools, it was much easier for them to prepare the food, cool it down, pack it, put it on the bus and get it out to our children. And so I decided at that moment that if I ever had an opportunity to write for anything, it would be blast chillers. So when Meredith first came to the district, she went out to the school, she said, I want to see what a blast chiller is, because this is something big, and it is something big. It will help on a whole, not just for when we have a COVID pandemic, but it will also help the value of the food on a whole. And I learned that. So even though I've been in this business a long time, I still learn every day. And so this is something that I wanted to do, and I did write for 4, but we did receive 2, and we received 1 for Don Steed Elementary and 1 for Hawkeye Elementary. And you see the amount of $71,809.92. And so that will purchase us 2 blast chillers for the district. So it was just something I wanted you all to know because it is exciting, and I was one of the few in our zone to receive the grant. So it's really exciting.
That's great.
Thank you.
And do you want to quick describe a blast chiller?
Okay.
Counselor,
Yes, sure, sure, I will. Okay, a blast chiller, it is a piece of equipment. When you walk into the cafeteria, you think it's a reach-in cooler, a reach-in refrigerator. It looks just like a refrigerator, but it's not. What it does is, it's a piece of equipment that when you put the food in, when it's hot or when it's, warm, it chills it down fast. And so when it chills it down fast, it saves the value of the food, and it also protects it from getting any bacteria to set in or anything like that. So it's able to preserve the food longer, and it's also able to preserve the food quickly. So, and I grew up, my mother was 98 when she passed away, and I grew up and I remember the time when my mother sat the food out on the stove and cooled it down. She did not put any ice under it. She did not, and we never got sick. But now you can't do that. That's right, Ms. Pickett. Ms. Pickett's looking at me like, come on. That's right. You really need to cool it down. So the old way to do it is to do it under ice. Put it under an ice bath. So you take ice and you put it under the pan on top of it. But with the blast chiller, you don't have to use the ice. You put it inside, it cools it down quickly. It preserves all of the value of the food, and it keeps it from.
And it tells you how long to blast it.
Yes, it's quick.
It tells you put
Yes.
it 5 minutes.
Yes, it tells you how long. Yes, you set it, and it's a fast. It just like it says blast. It blasts.
It doesn't change the taste.
No, it does not change the taste, no. No, it does not. No, it does not change the taste of the food, no. Good question, though.
Okay, so our next item, equally as exciting, is our community eligibility provision approval. So I'm going to ask Ms. Carpenter to stay up and please share that information.
And Ms. Shayla Scott will come.
And Ms. Shayla Scott.
Ms. Shayla Scott, Shayla is our executive administrative assistant for child nutrition, and so she is the person that works with me on the numbers to help us, and we are very, very excited. I do want to say, as you all know, that the government did take the funding back from us receiving, from all students receiving meals at no charge for 2022-23 school year. I'm sure you all know this. So this was devastating for everyone, not just in North Carolina, but across the United States. All of my counterparts that I have met, we are all just devastated because we're still, even though we may not be in the height of the pandemic, we still have lots of situations going on with our children. And so we really, we were just devastated when we found out that they were not gonna fund us again for next year. So at first, I was really, just had a hard time with that, and Dr. Dallas know, and Dr. Hunt know. And so I had many sleepless nights about it. And then I decided to come in early one morning and go back to the table. And so I came in and I started playing with things and started playing with numbers. I knew I had my 8 schools that were locked in. I knew they were fine. But then I had those schools that were not fine. And so I had to really work on it. So we called for some help. And so the State Department sent us someone, and we re-looked at the numbers, and of course, Shayla played around with them. And so we are able for next year to have all of our schools to be CEP qualified, meaning that all of our students in Hope County will receive meals at no charge. Yes. This is just something that I just had to have. I just prayed about it, and I just said, it's gotta work. It's gotta work some kind of way. I don't know how it's gonna work, but it's gotta work. Because I just know that our parents just cannot afford at this time right now with gas prices, food prices. I mean, we are seeing the increase in food prices. That's why I write for everything, every grant, everything I can find to help us. Because we have seen, Shayla can tell you, if you work the numbers, we have seen the increase in cost of food to feed our children.
Yeah.
So, and we're on bids. So we know what the average parents are doing when they're going to the grocery store. So this is why we wanted to have a CEP school district. We did not want any schools to be left out, and it so works. So Shayla, I'll let you talk.
Well, basically, as Ms. Carpenter said, she did say that we started, we had 8 schools that were locked in, but actually, at the beginning of this, we only had 7 schools. Because East Hope Middle at the time did not qualify. So we did have to reach out to Dr. Owens helped us because she pulled in some children that we were kind of had hanging out there and we weren't identified. So we were able to identify a few foster children, homeless children, and then as well as Dr. Fortenberry worked with us and gave us the migrant students as well. And if you pull up the CEP data collection, you can see, if you look at East Hope Middle School, they have to be at 40% identified. And at the time, East Hope Middle School was at about 36%. So just those few children, when I looked at it, I said, Ms. Carpenter, I think we only need about 8 to 10 kids, and I think it'll get us there. And if you look at the column that says other total, and so there's 11 students there. And like I said, at that time, we were about 8 off. And so when we got up to that 11, that brought them up to 43%, which actually bumped up the entire group, and we were able to add that to the 8 locked in schools. And then we also have grouping. So we have 2 groupings in which when you look at it with those 2 groups,
that brings the numbers up, and that brings up our reimbursement rates. At the time, we were at the 70%, that's the overall reimbursement rate, and now we're at about 86%. We get reimbursed on the free rate instead of the actual paid rate.
And this is very important, so we wanted you all to look at it. We wanted you to see that CEP is very important for Hope County Schools, and that it's not just something that's given to us. So we do want you to know that. It's not a given. We do have to work the numbers. We do have to work together. We do have to have those partnerships with Dr. Owens, with Dr. Fortenberry, and we have to have the partnerships with our principals. Now I need Dr. Dallas and Dr. Register and Dr. Ramsher and Dr. Hunt to work with me to help my principals work with our students, because we need that participation. So we need them to eat, because participation is very important. Because like Shayla said, we want to get reimbursed at that 86%. But if we don't have the participation, we will not get reimbursed at that. So we need our children to participate. And that's where we'll ask our superintendents to help us when we go into our leadership in August, because we need that. And Mr. O'Connor, I have to brag on him. Oh, Ms. AJ is still here too, good. I have to brag on them because Mr. O'Connor was principal at Rockfish and Shayla was the manager. And the first year we did total CEP, I said, Mr. O'Connor, your children need to eat now. I don't care how they need to eat, but they need to eat, okay? And he worked it. I mean, he worked it. Those kids, I don't know what he did. I don't want to ask him. I don't want to ask Shayla. I just want to stay down there and I don't want to know some of the stuff they did, but the participation went skyrocket and we needed it. Miss AJ did the same thing when she went over to Upchurch. She found out those kids were not eating. She got in there. I don't know what she did. Her and Felicia, I don't want to know, but they had the children to eat. That is very important. Participation is very important. So now we're at that state now, but we're going to get participation. We won't have to worry about that.
I certainly understand about participation. And when I was going to school, which was eons ago, you didn't have to get us to participate because the food was so good, you know, so I don't know.
It's still good.
I don't know what happened.
It's still good.
The soups, you know, the soup had beef in it and oh my God.
I'll speak as a parent and as a former manager. The soup definitely still has 100% beef in it. We actually use 85-15 beef. Yes. I know that's not the highest you can find in the store, but it's definitely the highest that we can get. We don't actually buy our beef from Cisco because theirs actually is 80-20. So we get USDA beef. And we've actually had farm to table beef recently. When we had meatloaf on the menu this year, we actually had fresh farm to table beef. It came in chilled, it didn't even go in the freezer, fresh to make meatloaf. I will say as a parent, my children eat. They don't eat every day because I mean, it's just like at home, some stuff they don't like. What I cook, I'm the type of parent who I don't make any other meal. You eat what I cook, or you find possibly what may be in there, because I don't buy freezer meals, I don't buy Hot Pockets. I occasionally buy noodles, they see it as a treat if I buy Usda noodles. So that, you know, I mean, it's just I did attend all Hope County schools, Rockfish, East Hope, Hope County High School. So I can say that, you know, yes, we used to have fried chicken. Unfortunately, we're not able to have fried chicken. Right, we can't fry it. So and I don't fry chicken at home either. So but you know, my kids do eat, you know, oven baked chicken and they love it, and sometimes they prefer the school oven baked chicken over mine. And I think I'm a good cook, but it's just, I mean, it's just their own preference. We can't, it's just like anything, just like in a restaurant, you can't match all the preferences, but we do try to entice them to eat. I know of an awesome teacher when I was at West Hope Elementary School, Miss Black Flippin. I'm sure everybody knows Miss Black Flippin. She would come through the line with her fifth graders, encourage them to eat. She would whisper in their ear, I'll give you extra points. I get extra credit. Eat broccoli today. So, I mean, and then it's just, I mean, my son, he never ate broccoli at home. All of a sudden, he ate broccoli every day at school. I think it's just like anything else, you know, if the peers try it, their friends try it, they'll try anything. If their teachers encourage it, they'll at least try it.
And if their principal encourages it.
Right.
If their principal encourages it.
It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's absolutely a team effort, just like everything else. Just like in the classroom, it's a team effort. Just like we're working here tonight, everything is a team effort to try to entice the kids to eat. I mean, I know they won't eat everything, but you know, they're kids. That's the way they
And I
are.
do want you all to know that you know that our children need to eat because that helps them learn. When I listen to Mr. Cummins' group talk about AIG students, I hope those students do eat because in order for them to learn, it's been proven that in order for a child to learn and to grasp and to stay alert and be able to be on top of things, they have to eat, and they have to eat good food. And we do provide very healthy food, and we do provide top of the line food. Our chicken is top of the line, our beef is top of the line. Most of our parents do not go to Food Line and buy 85-15 beef. Come on, you all. Let's just be real. But I do provide that. And another thing, most districts do not provide 85-15 ground beef, but I do. I'm gonna do it as long as I stay here until I can't do it anymore because that's what I want my children to have. I want them to have the best. I want them to have the variety milk. Most school districts are cutting back, not doing the variety milk. I'm still doing it because the chocolate milk is just as good as the white milk. You know, don't let them tell you because it's got chocolate in it that it's not good. It has very little sugar. It's just as good. So we do provide the best for our school.
So we do appreciate all of the work that you've done
Oh,
to keep all of our schools at a CEP status, to make sure that we can provide that. Because like you said, it's not a guarantee. That is an annual thing that we need to look at, some staying longer, but that is going to be a challenge every year without those federal waivers. So it is important that we continue to monitor our numbers.
And to get East Hope Middle was awesome. I mean, for us to reach East Hope Middle to be CEP. But thank you all very much for listening to us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
So information item C is an overview of the NCEC K-3 Literacy High Impact Tutoring Model. This is something that we're joining this year that we will be able to implement into the 22-23 school year. So at this time, let me ask Ms. Hammond, our Elementary Education Director, to share an overview of this very exciting program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dallas. Good evening, everyone. Again, I am AJ Hammond, Director of Pre-K-5. Super excited to be before you tonight just to briefly discuss the North Carolina Education Corps and our partnership as we move forward for the 2022-2023 school year. The North Carolina Education Corps was launched in September of 2020 by the North Carolina State Board of Education and the Governor's Office. As we go through this presentation, you're going to quickly see that the main goal of the North Carolina Education Corps is to provide high impact literacy tutoring for our K-3 students. So we know that K-3 is the foundation and they're starting there and I love it. Okay. So what is the main purpose? What do? They recruit, they educate, and they support, right? So they partner with North Carolina schools to extend the reach of teachers and accelerate student learning. They help by recruiting, training, and deploying community members who provide high impact literacy tutoring, again, for those K-3 students. So those are the three main things. As we go through this is an organization that's going to recruit great people for us, tutors. They're going to educate them by providing that PD. That's it. And then they're going to support them throughout that process by going into schools and providing site visits. The next slide just shows all of the counties. Right now, I think there are 32 up there that are currently partnered with the North Carolina Education Corps. Polk County schools, we are up there and we're super excited as we move forward for this upcoming school year. So we were able to have our kickoff meeting with them, and during that time, they did a great job of just really talking about the NC Education Corps and how they could benefit Polk County schools and ultimately how they can benefit our students. And they kept saying, what do we believe? What do we believe as an organization? And they believe that North Carolina is stronger when all students have the full support they need in order to thrive. And so they're going to partner with schools and districts, again, to provide that tutoring. They're going to extend that reach of teachers and then support students in the wake of COVID-19. So we know that with COVID-19, there was a great learning loss. We're all working hard to close those gaps. And this is just an added bonus to help close those gaps, okay? The next slide just basically shows the high impact tutoring model. And if you look at the center of that model, student growth is there. The principle was all about student growth. It's about that year's worth of growth. And so it's at the center of this model. And if you look at those things that surround it, it's not anything that's new to us. Data drives instruction. We've been saying that since the beginning of time because it does. High quality materials, and then that tutoring time. How often are we pulling students when? They're grounded into equity. Consistent, well-supported tutors. So consistency was a big thing as they went through their models. We know that students should have one tutor this day and a different tutor on the next day. And then they're embedded in the schools to help support teachers. So this slide just basically tells you what it is and what it is not. So high impact tutoring is consistent relationships. Everything is about relationships. It's asset-based. It's trained and coached tutors. It's individualized, small groups. It's data informed. And then with their model, they suggest that students meet 3 times per week. A lot of the work that they do or their plan, it really aligns with what we already have in place as a district when we talk about our intervention plan. So we did a lot of work centered around intervention, and we're still doing that with teachers. And if you pay close attention to what they're saying and what we already have in place, it's a great alignment there. So we already say it must be consistent. That's why we have our intervention specialists, right? It's consistent, same person. They must meet 3 times a week, and it has to be at least 30 minutes of instruction, not transition time. 30 minutes of instruction. It has to be data informed. So this is already aligned to what we do as a county. The next slide just breaks down how this, what it looks like for us. Again, it's aligned to what we do. They say at least 3 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes. It could be one-on-one, 1-on-3, but they don't recommend more than 3 students in a group at a time. And so I know with our model, I think we allow up to 5, but they don't recommend up more than 3. Sustained and strong relationships between students and tutors, close monitoring of student knowledge and skills with individualized student trackers. So that data piece, using the school curriculum. So with the education core, they don't say this is our curriculum, you have to use it, our tutors are using this. They say, Hope County, what are you guys already using that we can bring these people in and help train them on, and they can continue with what's going on within your system. And so we already have research-based intervention programs, our Voyager's Passport and our Bridges, that those people can become trained on, and then they can use those same research-based curriculums to help support students. So the next slide, they did a great job coming to us. They told us how their model is aligned to our school improvement plan, our strategic plan, and this is what they're saying. It's aligned to our priority goals 1, 2, 4, and 5. And here it lists the areas that they determined where the alignment was or whatnot. But as we go through it, it's about supporting students. It's about providing students with that individualized, personalized instruction, and our strategic plan is all about that student success. All right, so again, it's focused on our 8 elementary schools. Our plan at this time is to focus on trying to recruit 2 tutors per school. And of course, our plan is listed there. So they're going to, once this process started in a little bit, we'll just talk about the timeline. They're going to recruit for us. They're going to vet those people. During our meeting, we were actually happy to have HR part of that. So it really was a great conversation centered around Hope County schools and what we need. Okay. So again, what does this mean? They're going to recruit our 2 tutors, they're going to vet them, they're going to coach them, and they're going to provide PD and conduct site visits. So they're not just recruiting these people and say, hey, they're your tutors, all right? Although they're Hope County Schools employees, they're going to support them through coaches. So they have coaches within the core that will be assigned to Hope County Schools to help support them. They're going to conduct site visits and follow up with those tutors throughout the process. And again, they will be using our HCS curriculum. So our next steps, the North Carolina Education Core and Hope County Schools will follow the tutoring plan. We do have a tutoring plan that we work together on. Again, they're going to move forward with the recruiting. Once that's done, training and coaching. Hope County Schools, we're going to spread the word and employ those people. Hopefully some great people will get in place. I have a couple friends in Cumberland County that they moved forward with this last year, and they're principals, and they talked about how great it was just to have somebody to recruit good people for you, right? And then the people are coming in, they're training those people. So it was a great experience for them, and I know it's going to be great for us as well. And then again, integrating the core members, that K-3 high literacy impact. Okay, and this is just a calendar for you, just kind of give a snapshot of where we are now, where we started and where we are. We had our kickoff meeting And then we had the orientation meeting, on June 9th. We actually met with principals and they were able to receive some background information on it. Our goal is in September to begin that pre-service and that training after recruiting, and then begin that tutoring. And then the goal is for October, after all of that, to actually have tutors in place to move forward for this school year. So this is our plan of action and our timeline. So that is everything on the NC Education Core. I know that was quick. But I think overall, just remembering that it's an organization that's going to help find great people, recruit great people to help with that tutoring in the building for those students in and around those literacy skills. Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
You've noted that they recommend 3 students per tutor, and we have 5 per student. Have you done any comparison to let us know whether or not that makes a difference, their recommendation as compared to what we're actually doing?
I haven't done any, but I can tell you from my experience being in the building, I always said as a principal, we don't want the group to be too large, because then it turns into whole group construction. It's not small group anymore. Like, we want it to be small enough for the students to be able to benefit from it. And we want it to be what you need, right? It's what I need, and not just giving everybody the same thing just because it's easier for the group. I haven't done any comparison, but I honestly think it depends on the students. It depends on the teacher. Like, some teachers can handle 5 kids and some cannot, but their model just recommends 3. But I've seen a successful tutoring group with 5 students. I think it really just depends, but I haven't done any comparison on that. I think we were all about getting our bang for our buck.
Yeah.
When you have one intervention specialist, if they're only touching 3 kids at a time, you're like, oh, I could have added a couple more students, because they need it when you think about an entire grade level. Like, I know I can add 2 of them. So in the words of my great friend, we wanted to get our bang for our buck, just making sure we were able to support more students.
Okay. But if you find out that the 3 would work better?
Yes, always. So as we do with everything, it's about that monitoring, adjusting. So, after progress monitoring, after pulling that data, if 5 is too big of a group, and we do that now, we tell principals now, if 5 is too much, let's make it a smaller group.
And age will play a factor of that. So a kindergarten group might be 3, but where a second grade group, you might be able to have 5. So a lot of it, I think, will depend on the need of the group, and what they're able to handle. I would imagine our kindergartners and first graders, 3 might be more of what we need to do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have a question? Yeah, you said that this court is going to train and coach, and so they're gonna hire for us, or they're gonna bring you to us and say, hey, we want you. How's that gonna work?
So they're gonna recruit for us. And so when they recruit, we put our stipulations out there on what we're looking for as far as a tutor. And I think in our last conversation, we said they needed to be high school graduate and some college credits, right? And they're really looking at, one thing they talked about is building people within your community.
Okay.
And so that's a big part of it. Also, we're trying to find, where are those people in our community and how can we get them involved? So they're gonna pull those people in, like, they apply for the position, it's posted, they apply for it. They're gonna interview those people, vet those people, they even do reference checks. Now, if we decide, yes, you've done all that, but I'm gonna do a reference check too for myself, I'm going to do all of that over again. We also have that option, that's something we can do as a county. But then, if we decide, okay, they vetted this person, we want this person, I want this tutor, then they have a plan in place. So they have coaches within their organization that are assigned to those tutors. And they provide coaching, online coaching, they go to training, and then they come out to the schools to support them also.
Okay.
Thank you. One more question. The tutoring positions, are those full-time positions?
So they are part-time positions. I forgot how many hours we talked about, but they're part-time.
And the position is on the website?
Yeah, so they will be posted just like our regular positions on the website, yeah, just like we normally, because they're gonna be, although they're recruiting, they're Hope County Schools employee. So they're gonna follow Hope County Schools guidelines, go through Hope County Schools process, they belong to us, they're just helping us support them.
What's the salary?
Certified, it was 25, and then classified 15. So it goes along with what we already have in place, that didn't change.
It was.
Are you interested?
No. The
You would be
reason I-
great, you would be great at it.
No, the reason I asked you because I know a lady now that's doing tutoring. And she's at a place, she has a doctorate, but she's at a place where they're paying her like $12 an hour. And she's getting ready, thinking about leaving. So I'm saying, I know she's overly qualified for where she is, but they tell me she's doing a fantastic job. So I was wondering, well, let's do it.
Yeah. Give a shout out, comment now.
Okay.
That's good.
That's great, that is great.
Questions, we're excited, we think it definitely has some value, and we really anticipate to see some positive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so information item D is an overview of the National Math and Science Institute, NMSI, as an acronym grant. And we're very excited about this opportunity as well for our teachers. So let me ask Dr. Shannon Register, our Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education, to please share an overview of this grant.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All the great and wonderful things that's going on in Hope County to support our students and our teachers. And this is just an addition to that. The National Math and Science Institute received a Department of Defense grant. And of course, they looked among, at those different school districts around the United States. And they actually contacted us in terms of participating because of our military students, the numbers that we serve there. So of course, we were very excited to do so. So here, through a grant that the National Math and Science Institute has received, they're going to really look at how can they advance STEM education. But through this grant, it's really to support advanced placement courses at the high school. And so we want to jump on this because we want to offer more rigor in all our courses. And we'll talk about that as we move forward. And so this is just their overall impact for the National Math and Science Institute. I thought that was very important to kind of show you the impact that they're having throughout the United States, as well as, if you see a little note at the top, they do have, now they say roughly about 309 Department of Defense funded schools. And so we have actually added to that. So with this grant, they actually have two parts. The first one is called a college readiness program, where the main focus is high school. So they're looking to support students, teachers, and leadership with advanced placement courses. And then the second piece to that is laying the foundation. And this is where our middle school comes in. So the focus will be vertical alignment and ensuring that we have rigor in those middle schools that's going to help propel when those students reach high school. So this is just kind of an outline in terms of the three-pronged approach. It says school support, which really they're talking there in terms of supporting that leadership. And then you have your teacher support, that's coaching and professional development for teachers. And then student support. They offer tutoring and support for students in those advanced placement classes. Right, and so this is just an overview of training that we will participate in. There's some summer online conferences that they're gonna have. Matter of fact, it's coming up in the next week or two. Then they're gonna have some content workshops that will happen. And this is gonna take place in Texas. They have one session in the end of June and another session for another group in the end of July. So we're excited. And then throughout the next school year, they will have online training, and then there's some on-demand modules for our teachers as well. And this is just giving you more information in terms of how they support leaders. And so when we look at our strategic plan, because that's a piece that they really kind of promoted, It went with our priority, student, success. And our objective there was that we want to increase the participation in advanced placement courses or our college courses, because we want to offer a variety of pathways, to our students. Next. And then this is some support that they have in place in terms of, to better support our students. They have online specific supports for AP courses. They do have some blended content support that's synchronous, so that's live sessions for our students as well as asynchronous support. So I'm just excited just for the support for students. They can take advantage of this. And then these are all the courses in terms of what they support. Those courses are in red, but I want to put the plethora of courses in terms of any course that you see that have a star. Those are courses that we offer or we have offered here at the high school. Now, I've got a few more that I needed to add on this list, because normally every year we have about 12 to 15 AP courses that we offer to our students. So that's exciting. And this is just showing the impact of the grant that it has had on other school districts that actually implemented the grant and used the resources and the support from the National Math and Science Institute. So I want to share those. And then here, this is long-term impact. As the National Math and Science Institute has done, of course, research in terms of their efforts and the impact. These are some bullets that they shared with us when it comes to the impact on students. And I think this is very, very critical, and we're hoping that we can see the impact in our district. And this is just more information in terms of the support when it comes to laying the foundation for our middle school. Because we wanted definitely to ensure that those students are ready when they go to the high school. What we want to prevent is students having remedial courses in high school. The same way we don't want students taking remedial courses when they go to college. Right, that's the same thing we think in high school. So we want to make sure we lay in the foundation so that does not happen, or we can minimize it. And then this is just more training that they offer to better support our teachers in grades 6-12. And it is a 2-year program of support, so we're excited in terms of the different supports that they will have. Also, I do want to add they will pay for AP exam reimbursements, but we already do that. That's something that we started in Hope County years ago. Instead of students having to pay for those exams, that comes out of our AIG budget to pay, and now the state actually supports those types of efforts. And then this is just more information in terms of the grant opportunities. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the red, for the AP classes, it's 9. Those are the classes that we're offering now?
No, the ones in red, those are supported through the grant. So,
okay,
yeah.
So the ones in black is the ones that we
That
did or?
That we have offered.
We have offered.
Yes.
Okay, so how many college classes do we offer here?
For college classes, we have, we take advantage of our online. So if you're talking about face-to-face, we have about 7 face-to-face classes.
And then we have online.
And then you have online. So online, that's whatever students will have to sign up for the different based off of their own pathway.
Okay.
But face-to-face, that's correct. So we do want more college classes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something we're working on but our partnership with Sandhills. But, you know, and I'm glad you mentioned, you're talking about Sandhills or the college classes. Because sometimes, you know, we're torn with, is advanced placement, should we let those classes go for more college classes? The problem would be that you want to have a variety, right, for our students. That's correct. And then what your college admissions, what they are looking for when it comes to criteria. Any other questions?
Excited about this grant.
I am.
I mean, I think it's really about student support, student success, at the same time building capacity of our teachers. Anytime we can add rigor into the classroom and make sure that students are prepared for the next level, I mean, that's a game changer. So I look for good results from this as well. Thank you, Dr. Register. Okay, information item E is an update on COVID-19 and our K-12 testing program. Let me ask Dr. Peggy Owens, Executive Director of Student Support Services, to please provide this update.
Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, and members of the board, good evening.
Good evening.
So we want to give you a brief update in terms of where we are. Okay. So this is the data for last week in the schools, and you can see that we are experiencing a slight uptick with cases, and this also is representative of our community as well. Next, here.
This is it. The cursor's gone away. Hold on.
So scroll down to the summary. Right here. So just to give you a brief overview again, as you look at the data in terms of what our current measures are, that with COVID-19 that's been measured, looking at the wastewater particles, we're looking at emergency room visits and those symptoms. The health system in terms of capacity, for as the actual number of specimens that's being collected now, the number of hospitalization admissions, and then our vaccine and boosters. So these are the primary measures that we're taking a look at as we move forward with COVID. So what does that mean? If you can get to Hope County. So this is the percentage for us for Hope County. But I would tell you, when you look at the bigger picture, we go to the CDC, we are currently in medium. We are now yellow. And as you all know, the past few months, we've been reported that we were low, but now we're seeing that uptick and we're experiencing that. And we see it in our numbers within the school system. We also see that within the community as well. So what does that mean since we're medium and in yellow? What that means for us is that, again, you can choose to wear your mask or not, but the recommendation is from CDC that we would encourage you to wear your mask, especially those persons who are at high risk. So if you're at high risk and you have immune compromise, those are the individuals who definitely should consider wearing their mask. In addition to that, if you're experiencing any symptoms, then you need to get tested for COVID-19. You know, this picture looks much different than what it has previously, So what our healthcare professionals are doing, they're recommending that we get tested. We have many individuals who either they utilize the home tests, which those are available, but also we encourage individuals to use the, really to get a PCR to know for sure if you are positive with COVID. And of course, you know, that guidance has changed, so if you test positive, you need to quarantine for 5 days, but we still have to notify those individuals that you've been in direct contact with, and then you wear your mask for an additional 5 days, so that's really a total of 10. Vaccination, getting boosted. These are all the protocols that we need to continue to utilize because these are the tools that we have. So in order for us to remain safe, we need to continue to put these tools into practice. So basically what we're seeing is Omicron B2, as well as Omicron B2.1. So these are the variants that's currently under surveillance. And that's what the medical community is continuing to study. So what does that mean for us? We've already talked about that, to continue to practice our protocols and utilize our tools. As you know, to the next slide. We won't go into the testing program, just go to 3 months of COVID. So as you know, we participate in the K-12 COVID testing program. And so we wanted to share a report with you on tonight in terms of our progress when we actually started this in March. So 3 months from March through May 22. So we've had a total of 86 persons who actually registered for the food testing. And we've had a total of 63%, which gives us a total of 73.26% in terms of those persons actually being tested. So if you're in the pool test, you're tested every week. And that has went very well. This is a tool we'll be, actually I'll be sending out an email tonight. We're asking the principals if they will send out a school reach message just to remind parents that we have testing available. And the team that works with us from MACO, they are anxious to come in, and so adults, our staff, as well as students can be tested, and there's no charge for that. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So, so when you get tested, say for instance, you have some symptoms, can they determine, oh, yeah, you got Omicron B.12? I mean, or do they just say, yeah, you're positive?
They just, they tell you that you're positive for COVID. You know, in the labs, you know, they can drill that down, but that's, you know, with the researchers and the scientists, but what they tell us that you're just positive for COVID-19, but they know that that variant is out there, and that's what we're seeing now, but they don't say that, they just say you tested positive for COVID-19.
Okay.
Honey, with all these symptoms that you're talking about having, cough and all this stuff, suppose I have the flu. Can they detect that, or they gonna tell me I got COVID?
Well, there are some tests there for flu early, I would say further back, they would be able to tell you whether you had flu or pneumonia, because those are the same symptoms, cold-like symptoms with flu. So yes, ma'am, they can tell you.
You can test negative for COVID and then positive for the
For the
flu.
flu, okay. I was just wondering, because I know this thing like everybody, COVID, you might have said you heard the flu now.
Well, that's what we're beginning to see.
You beginning to see the flu now?
Yes, ma'am, we're beginning to see flu. We're also beginning to see other respiratory diseases as well. So that's the reason it's important to get tested.
And the second booster, they're still giving that now?
Yes, ma'am, the health department has that available. Yes, they do have that available, so, you can get boosted, and that's what we encourage, your choice. Any other questions?
Do you need an appointment for the second booster?
Pardon me?
Do you need an appointment or can you walk in?
You can do a walk-in, if you call them ahead of time, at least they'll be prepared for you, probably health department, but they accept walk-ins.
Thank you, Dr. Allen.
Thank you.
Okay, our last information item is our monthly financial report. So if you have any questions, we will direct them to our Chief Finance Officer, Ms. Juanita Davis. Okay. If there are no further questions, then Madam Chair and members, that does conclude our informational items for this evening.
Okay, so next we'll move into closed session. May we get a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we go into closed sessions, under North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11, to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel matters, to consider matters related to initial employment of individual employees, and to consult with our board attorney, to preserve the attorney-client's privilege.
May we get a second for this?
I second.
Okay. Are there any questions? If none, all in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.